I highly recommend that everybody listens to this to the full end. She brings up some of the greatest points I've ever heard in Doctor Who discussions, and I think everybody needs to listen to this till the end. Thank you so much, and I'm gonna start the video now. Okay. Hey everyone, so I've decided to start this new thing where I bring people on to talk about, people who aren't that into Doctor Who. So I have a lot of fangirls who wouldn't leave me alone. Now this one person has been bothering me for the past week, telling me telling me she wants to come on this video. So I said, you know what, just screw it. Okay, just come on. So we are here.
That's what I do now.
Yeah, we are here with the Hopeless Peaches. She is an artist, actually. But the point...
Ew.
Yeah, I mean, the point of... the point of this is, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, get somebody who's not really in this fandom to give us their general opinion on the situation. So, firstly, could you tell us a bit about yourself, Peaches? We know you're an artist, so what else? Basic stuff.
Very basic. Well, once upon a time, many years ago, the best Peach was born, but now I'm just a casual fan of Doctor Who. I used to be a fan of it, and then obviously a little Moffat man appeared, and I was like, you know what, let's not. But no, I just do art, hang around, and watch reviews of things that I haven't even watched for a good couple of years, because that's what I do now.
I mean, that's completely fair, and we know you watch my videos, so that's okay. The funny thing is, she actually left a comment on one of my videos, insulted my my voice, saying that the way I speak is, I was hurt by that. Okay, moving on. Right, I have a couple of questions for you. The first question is, because this is a really, really big one. How do you feel about how do you feel about the idea of a female doctor, just from a casual point of view?
The idea of a female doctor's fine. It'd be pretty interesting because a doctor is supposed to be smart. I think Chibnall forgot that part, but they're supposed to be quite smart, so it'd be quite interesting to see them try and get over the kind of social boundaries in the past and stuff, to be able to still get along with, be able to do the kind of mystery things.
How do you mean? How do you mean by social boundaries?
For instance, I do know by reviews that there was an episode with King James basically sassing her because she's a woman, and that she should be a governor or whatever.
Yeah. And
it would be cool to be able to see a doctor do all that, but at the same time, it shouldn't be the doctor. It should be kind of like a Time Lord or a person. Not the one. I mean, I'm pretty sure he was only supposed to regenerate 12 times, and then he should be deaded, but whatever.
Then he should be deaded. Are we making up words now? What's happening here?
Because he's not human. He can't just randomly die, because when he dies, he regenerates. He needs to be double dead or deaded.
Deaded. Right, okay, I'm sure you've all heard what she just said there. Deaded, so I guess we should take that with a grain of salt. Okay, so fair enough. So from your point of view, you think it's weird that we have a female doctor, but how do you feel? Well, there's this thing going on around now, basically, that there's a bit of an agenda. So what I mean by that is that there are several scenes where the show's trying to push forward, what's the word? Sexism. They're trying to bring light to, all these little things, but they do it in a very bad way. For example, there was an episode, I'm not sure if you know who Rosa Parks is.
I know who Rosa Parks is.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm quite versed with my history.
So basically, there was an episode based on that, scene. Now the problem with this is, as you can imagine, the BBC, the first white guy they saw in the episode punched the black guy in the face. So you kind of get it. Racism is a bit bad. I think that was the point of it. So moving on, the general episode is just making
very direct.
Yeah, and the general episode is just making white people seem all bad and things like that. And you would really
it is the BBC, so.
What is that supposed to mean?
Well, the BBC are quite known for being really PC.
Give me an example.
I do remember quite a while ago they had like a bit of a controversy because they were trying to appeal to two minority groups with Doctor Who, with the random lizard woman and then her Victorian
yeah,
lesbian wife or whatever.
yeah. See,
But like one minority that they like didn't like that, and then the like LGBT community did want it. So then the BBC was like, why don't we just like
mix it,
semi do it?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, no, I was like, if that's what you want, then that should be what you do. But they kind of prove with that situation that they're literally only trying to appeal to like minorities rather than create a show.
And how do you feel about that? The idea of like appealing to minorities and things like that, instead of focusing on the show. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, because obviously we're living in a time now where everyone is more diverse. Like no one can get away with that. Like, so obviously it's going to happen naturally, but everyone's still kind of. It's kind of like they're looking back on old media and going, "Whoa, look at that! That was clearly because of this or that." And I'm just like, instead of trying push one way, why don't you just do it naturally? Because it's so busy with politics now that I'm like, you might as well just stop. You're not trying to make a story anymore. You're trying to make one of those PSAs for like kids. That
is brilliantly said. Listen, everybody, listen to what she just said. And this is a casual viewer. This is a person who isn't into this fandom just like that. Because you see, Peaches, the thing is, in this fan base right now, there's a bit of a, I wouldn't say a bit of a war, because that would sound cringy as hell, right? But there's a bit of a divide between people who like the female Doctor and people who don't. And like, as you can imagine, I don't.
There's a lot of straw manning that I've heard.
How do you mean? Go on.
I've heard this reporter saying that she didn't used to like Doctor Who,
Lucy
and then
Brown,
yeah, and then she was like, oh yeah, I've heard all the sexism because I don't like the female Doctor. I'm like, you're really cherry picking what people don't like about the show. I don't even watch it, but I know that I don't watch it because I've not got a lot of time on my hands, and when I do watch stuff, I want to
enjoy it. Yeah, I get you.
I don't hate watch things anymore, but I'm like, I know that I wouldn't like it, so I try and just stay away from it because I know that it's just a PSA for kids now, and I'm like, it's not what I used to like, so I'm gonna leave it alone. But then she's there like, oh, it annoyed some guy because it's like politically correct. I'm gonna stop watching it, and I'm like, you can't talk about the diverse cast if you've not even watched the old one. I mean, have you all forgotten Captain Jack? Because he was the dopest character in my opinion.
Now hold on, quick question. When you think of Captain Jack, right, what's the first thing that comes to mind? The first thing, like if somebody just says the first thing that comes to mind when you think of Captain Jack, what is it?
He's a suave son of a bitch.
Okay, what's the second thing? What do you think of the character?
He's pretty good. Pretty flirty though.
Okay.
Which is actually pretty funny. He's actually one of the funniest characters from the old show.
Exactly, and he didn't like preach his. Well, I'm not sure if you've seen this because you said you kind of stopped in series 10. But the thing is, there was a character added in called Bill. She was a black woman. Now, Bill basically was a lesbian. So in every single bloody episode, this girl was telling everybody that she was a lesbian. They went to an episode in ancient Rome, right? And then she was telling the Romans that she was a lesbian too, and trying to talk about that shit. Like
it's like if I went up to someone and they were just like, oh, hi Peaches, this is Mr. X, and I'm just like, hi Mr. X, I'm straight. He'd be like, are you coming on to me?
I mean, that's what the show's trying to do.
She's just there going, by the way, I'm available. I'm gay.
Oh,
that's all I can imagine.
There was a scene too where like the Doctor's super emotional. And then she says to the Doctor, even though she's already told him like 50 billion times, she tells him again that she's a lesbian in an emotional scene. And then at that point you realize that they don't, like you said, they don't really care about story. They're trying to push forward an agenda. Now,
yeah, the thing with me is, when I see that, I'm just like, you're kind of trivializing, like, in my opinion, like, for instance, apart from, like, smaller issues like bullying and stuff, which I do know happens, but like on a grand scale of things, it's not a massive thing anymore to be like, gay or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah.
But if like the BBC did think it was a big thing, why would you trivialize it to this point by only showing them as that sexuality? If you wanted to go to people, no, they shouldn't be oppressed because they're people too. Why don't you write them as people?
I wish there was a way I could like just copy what you said and just like put it on my wall or something like that, because this is beautiful. I hope everybody who's listening to this just heard what she just said there. That is exactly what I've been saying, and this is a casual fan. Okay, now I mean you for example, like I know you're into the whole. I mean you should know this personally. The Undertale fandom is probably like one of the worst and most toxic fandoms to ever exist. I mean you can agree with that.
Yes.
Yeah,
I can agree with that.
And honestly, the game isn't even that good. If I'm completely honest, the game.
I don't want to like get like killed or anything, but like I mostly draw it because they look fun to draw and not because they're actually good characters. Don't kill me.
I hope your fan base. I hope your fan base listen to this, right, and hear what you just said, because that's embarrassing.
Guys, they just look cool. They just look cool.
But like what's been happening in our fandom is that like people are getting attacked, because basically there's a lot of mix of stuff going on, like apparently with the whole ethnic minorities and things like that. Basically, if like with Back to the Rosa episode, if you didn't like that episode and you're a white person, I feel very sorry for you, because it's kind of you can't really say much about it. And then these people had a bloody episode based in India, and like I saw some Indians who disagreed with the episode, and then nobody talked about it. My point is, my general.
It's again just cherry picking like little straw men.
Yeah.
But you can't do that if they're the same as the people you're depicting to be the good guys who also disagree. You're just like, well, hell. I don't want to say that my writing's bad. I guess it's just evil white men.
There we go. And how do you feel about this whole LGBT? I want to know your personal, not in relation to Doctor Who. How are you feeling towards LGBT like stuff? QT15, whatever.
I'm fully fine with people with whatever they do, because it's none of my business, and I'm just like, if you're cool with me, I'm cool with you. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you do. But then there's a difference between that, where they're just casual people going about their daily lives, and then there's the media who are just like, here. At first, the spoon feed you with this kind of stuff, and I'm just like, okay, I get it. And then they're just like, now that you get it, let me just ram it down your throat.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, perfectly said. But I mean, okay. So I assume you mean the whole. Yeah, I assume that stretches through to. Are you there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I assume that stretches through to the whole idea of like transgenders and all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let me just say this again, because I had a bit of an issue a while back with a transgender guy who was giving me nonsense. And what I was trying to explain is that, and I know he's probably going to see this video somehow. So he's. I mean, I don't know how to gender them. Like she, whatever. The thing is.
Hello. Hello, if you're watching, please tell us.
I mean,
he's confused.
The thing is, I feel like everybody should be treated equally, of course. But at the same time, like for example, this is gonna get me attacked. I know I'm gonna get my ass licked for this, but like,
can I sharpen my pitchfork first? I want to be the first dibs.
see, this is why we can't have nice things, man. Like seriously. Okay, so I feel like everybody's equal, so everybody should be treated equally. Like if you want to insult someone, you should be able to insult everybody. Correct?
Yes, otherwise comedians will be out of a job.
Exactly. And I think that's part of the main problem we have today in everything, not just Doctor Who, everything. And so I think that's mainly the main issues here. Let's see what
it's else. Like for instance, we're British. Like our whole thing is being sarcastic and being just really snarky. Well, how can we do it if we have to also be really nice to everyone? I'm just not nice. I hate everyone equally.
Seriously?
Yeah, I hate everyone equally.
Bloody hell! Right, this.
Pick on all of them.
Okay.
Pick on me. Pick on you. Pick on everyone. It's just how the life works.
I don't know how I feel about that, but okay. Okay. Now, like, there's one subject also. Basically, a lot of people are feeling afraid about, voicing their opinion. Like, what do you think about that? Being afraid. This isn't, like, again, not just in relation to Doctor Who. Being afraid to voice. Like, for example, if some people are actually afraid of saying they don't like the female Doctor in fear of being attacked.
I think you should say it whatever. Because if you keep all hiding behind what some people say, because this is the thing, even though social justice is looking like it's a bigger thing than it is, trust me, it's not. Not a lot of people think that way, and that's why if you look on like YouTube views on stuff, you'll always see like thousands, millions of people all like looking at stuff, taking the mick out of it. And there's a lot more people who have common sense or will understand you more than there are people who are gonna just shout you down and call you this and that, any kind of ism they can think of. So I say just voice your opinion no matter what, because at the end of the day, there's free speech. If you get kicked down, it's just because they can't take it. And if people talk and just say how they feel, like, you don't need to think, oh, am I right, am I wrong? It's an opinion. You should say what you want, and if people all feel like they can say what they want, then you'll start to realise that this silly PC social justice thing is a lot smaller than it actually is. It's just that people are afraid to be called this and that when they're not.
Yeah. That is took the words right out of my mouth. That is incredible. So, and how do you personally handle criticism yourself?
Well, as an artist, I get criticism a lot from quite a lot of different perspectives. Like, I'll get more objective criticism from people saying, oh, this art, your anatomy's bad, and I'll be like, oh, if you can tell me how to fix it, that'll help and all this lot, because I need criticism personally to be able to get better, which the BBC seem to fail at realising. You need that. Yeah. And then I'll get some people who will go, like, for instance, the social justice kind of point. When I first started colouring, I literally had 2 colours which vaguely looked like skin tone. So because I only had those 2 colours, I had, like, I've got more now, and I'm starting to be able to branch out more. And people were like, oh, this is bad, you're only drawing like Asian characters and all this lot, and I'm just like, guys,
people actually
let me get more pens.
No, hold on, people actually said that to you?
Yeah, it was when I first starting to be able to colour. I used to do a lot of pencil stuff, and I'll get that, and like, I'll still see it as a criticism now because I need to learn to colour. But at the time, because people would cherry pick that point and then twist it, I'd be like, if you can tell me an objective criticism, like, for instance, I've got 1 colour for black skin, 1 colour for white skin, and it's really bad. I should learn to get more broaden out a bit more. And I see that as a good criticism if someone goes, oh, you only draw pinky skin for white people, for instance, which looks stupid, by the way. I'd be like, thank you. I'll be like, I'll try and broaden that out so I can do more tan or do more this. But when someone twists it, I'm a bit like, I'll just brush it to the side because I know that it's just a minority who think that way, and I'm just like, I'm gonna just brush you to the side. And just internalize it a little bit to know where you're coming from, because as an artist, again, I know that I do need to broaden out and do stuff like boys. I can't draw boys. But no one's called me a sexist yet, so I'm all good.
Sexist. Okay.
God damn it.
Okay, so just to round up here, do you have any closing words for the people listening to this? Anything to close off with? Very
on the spot.
Any advice?
Any advice? Life advice?
Give money advice,
anything.
Financial advice, because I've been looking into the stock market. So, like, I'm thinking, what should I put my money into right now?
I don't know. I've not looked into that stuff. Why give me such hard questions?
I now understand why your name is Hopeless. Genuinely. Hopeless
exactly.
Creature.
I'm hopeless at everything.
You're completely hopeless, mate. Completely hopeless.
I'm hopeless at art. I'm hopeless at life.
Right. Okay. Right, guys. I'm gonna end the video here, and stuff like that. Because Peaches says she's gonna draw me some really, really nice stuff. So we need to.
Whoa! Did I?
We need to end this video right here so we can continue the rest of the discussion.
I've been apparently stalking you so much.
Shut your mouth! None of this. Enough. Also, Peaches, could you say my name just to close off with? Say it properly. Read it.
There's a little squiggle above the O.
It's called an accent. It's a little accent. Okay.
I'm not really happy with the little squiggle.
Go ahead. We're waiting for it. We're waiting for it.
I did say I'm hopeless at a lot of things.
Will you hurry up and say it? Right, say it.
El Patron? Is that it?
It's pa. Say it again. Not Patreon. Okay, say it again. Let's go. This is not going to end until we say it.
El Patron? Is that it?
You know what? To be honest, that works. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for listening, and subscribe to me. And listen, I'm gonna put all her stuff in the description. So watch her stuff if you want to learn how to draw. She goes on about rants about this Lucy Brown person who she's jealous of. So it's just jealousy, to be honest. So thank you so much for listening, and cheers.